What we do here is go back, 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 back.
We're at Jemcon, it's great.
I know. I finally made it out here because I live like an hour away, so I figured I might as well.
Where do you live?
Rochester, New York. Yay! Yeah, so it's really cool being here. You know, I got my parents to take care of my cat, so that was cool. Yeah, my cat Rambo, he's like the main reason I never go anywhere. He's very bad. He's very cute, yeah, he's very mischievous. He's a terror, and I don't even, he hates everybody but me, and I don't even know if he's gonna come out like when my parents go to take care of him. But yeah, that's not Jem related, so.
So Mad Mortigan was not based on Rambo.
Oh no, because we did Med Mardigan before I got Rainbow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so she was just like, it's just like I wanted to draw a cat, and I wanted to draw a cat, and Pizzazz should have a cat because she's, it softens her character a little bit.
Yes.
And I think, and like her cat is like, very prissy, not like an evil cat, but she has like some pizzazz in her, I think. So she has like, an evil side and a soft side, which is good.
Can you kind of introduce yourself?
Yes, I can. I'm Sophie Campbell. I drew the Jem comic from, 2015? I can't even remember. 15 to, you guys probably know this more than I do. I don't remember.
17?
Yes, 2017, yeah, because I drew 12 issues, so that's like a little over a year. Yeah. And I work on other stuff, like I do Ninja Turtles. And I do my own stuff, my comics like Wet Moon, which was nominated for an Eisner this summer. But I didn't win. But it's still pretty cool being nominated. I've been doing comics since, like 2002, I think. So I've been doing this full time for like quite a while.
Wow.
It's nice because I get to work in my pajamas, and I get to, I get just roll out of bed like I did for this show. I just rolled out of bed, yeah, so that's nice. And I've got it. I can't believe I've been doing this for like, I can't even do the math. Like a long time.
Did you watch Jem? Did you know of Jem before you started working?
Yeah, because like I'm kind of old, so it was on.
Were you a fan, or you just knew about it?
I was a fan when I was little, but I wasn't like a huge TV kid.
Okay.
So
Right.
like it was on, and like I didn't really understand that shows would like come on at like regular intervals, so like I would see Jem on like like a Saturday or something, but I didn't understand that it would be on the next Saturday also. So I would watch it like sporadically, and I remember I hated the Misfits when I was a kid. I didn't get it. Like I was like, why are they so mean to Jemcon and the Holograms? Like how come they don't go to jail? And I think that was like an obstacle for me with the show.
Oh yeah.
And I just didn't get it. I was like, I don't get it. It's not like, it wasn't like, like Skeletor or Hordak where like when they lost they would like go back to their like evil base, and like sulk or something. That was kind of like their punishment. But the Misfits, they didn't have that. They were just like, see ya, and then they would leave. And I feel like I didn't get it until I was older, and like I understood like the tone.
It's kind of like Washington D.C.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, they get away with everything.
It was like a young and old at the same time.
Yes.
That's why it wasn't so clear.
Right. Yeah. It's a little more black and white, and it's like, it wasn't as clear cut, and I think I just didn't understand that when I was little. And then when I revisited the show, like many years later, oh, I got it. They want the same thing as Jem, but they're just a little more like chaotic neutral.
Right.
For like.
Get it in evil ways.
Yeah, right. And it's like, it doesn't really make any sense because why are there only 2 bands?
What do you mean? There's 3.
There's why are Sorry. It's 2. Let's be honest. So, no, I'm kidding. I love this. I love the Stingers. So, and I had actually done a bunch of Jem fan art over the years, and I was like, how come there's they reboot everything? There's a new He-Man and Thundercats and all this other stuff. It's where's the new Jem? So I just did a bunch of art that was kind of like a what if, what I would do if I was in charge of Jem and it came back or whatever. And then a few years after that, I heard through the grapevine, because I was doing Turtles and stuff at that time, and I heard that IDW had gotten the Jem license, and I was just like, oh, I have to get in on that. So I I found out who the editor was, and I emailed my editor, and brought my friend Kelly along, who ended up writing the comic, and I kind of. Yeah, because Kelly and I go way back. We're friends for a long time. And I was just and she was, I can't remember what she was working on or how she found out about it, but she kind of found out about it at the same time. And we both kind of called each other at the same time, and we're like, hey, did you hear about this? They're getting the Jem license. We should pitch. And so we got in contact with the editor, John, and kind of, banged down his door or whatever, and put together a pitch. And I think there were some other people who pitched, I don't know who they were. But I just, I knew that we would get it. I just knew. Kelly was all, we're not gonna get it. And she was, all nervous and upset. And I was just oh, I'm gonna go take a nap. I'll be right back. I'll find out, if we got it, when I get up. And, so we got it, and it was fine. I knew we would. And that was it. It was just kind of I used some of this old stuff from my old fan art, and then it was, I don't know. I had been working in comics for a long time at that point, so I wasn't flipping out the way Kelly was, because that was her first big job. And I was just yeah, I could, it's just, it's just a job. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be, fun and a blast and a dream come true. But it's just it's we're gonna do our best, and that's, that's it. And but once it got rolling, it's I was okay. Once I started drawing the first issue or whatever, I was oh, okay, now it's coming together, and now I'm excited because I can see it, and it's being approved by the Hasbro people. And once I felt once I was fighting with the Hasbro people, that's when I felt it was real. When there was stuff that we wanted to do that they're nah, you can't do that. Let me think. What did I want to do? I wanted Aja to be gay. They didn't like that.
Oh, too bad.
Because they didn't want 2 gay holograms, or
yes.
because they didn't want...
Yes, because we had reached our queer quota. Not in those exact words, but that was basically what it was.
Can you repeat that? I missed that. Go back and just repeat.
From where?
Just a little bit when everybody went, oh.
Oh, I said that we had reached our queer quota.
With the comic book?
Yeah, because we couldn't have 2 gay characters.
Oh, so there's
too many.
I'm not that familiar, so there was.
Oh yeah, because we made Kimber and Stormer gay.
Oh, okay. So I.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, and
Aja was just. It wasn't that they didn't want Aja to be gay. It was that you had reached your quota.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, which is exactly how real life works, right? Yeah, right. Yeah. So that was it, and we actually, I think we were. And I think we even had like, cause like after I left the series and Kelly kept writing it, like she kind of tried to like slip like nods to it into the book, and like I would have had a boyfriend, Craig, and then.
Oh, I think the cutting of the hair, was it something like that? Where she was like, you cut your hair every time you get a new boyfriend or girlfriend?
Yeah.
Was that a thing?
I can't remember.
I think that was saying it.
Yeah, there were
Whenever
these
you get a
little.
girlfriend or boyfriend, you cut your
Right,
hair.
yeah, there were these little things where she would try to make Aja bi or queer. And I think like we even had, like I did sketches for like one of her girlfriends, like, you
Oh my
know.
God, you should be bringing this.
Yeah. So, you know, yeah, so like we had these, you know, these other girls that she had been with, but you know, Hasbro was like, no, you can't do that. So that, you know, that got nixed. I'm trying to think.
You just like make them really butch looking. Be like, what's a girl?
I'm trying to think of what else I wanted. There was some stuff that Kelly didn't like because I had all these like really stupid ideas. Like I wanted them to have. This was before we had Pizzazz's cat, I think. But like I wanted the holograms to have like a hologram cat. You know, like a little sidekick or whatever. Yeah, and Kelly hated it, and I talked to some of my other friends too. I was just like, "This is a great idea, right?" And they're like, "No, that's stupid." So I was like, "All right, I'll drop it." I think just the Aja thing. That was the big thing with Hasbro. I
Was
can't
a quota
remember.
thing.
Yeah, they just, you know,
It
they're.
wasn't like they didn't want Yuri and had to, and they just didn't want to overdo it, I guess.
But
I
there
don't
was
know.
like Flash and Blaze.
Yeah, but that was later. Like I had to kind of, you know, because like I didn't get to do that until, you know,
Yeah.
Dimensions,
Yeah.
which was like much later.
But still, it happened. So it's good.
Yeah, yeah. I think at the beginning too, like a lot of these big companies, you know, when they license stuff out, they're like, you know, they're skittish.
Right.
Like especially with Jem, because there had never been another Jem reboot at that point. And they're just like, oh God, can we put gay people in it? You know, it's like that. It's like, you know, they're weird or whatever.
They don't know what they don't know us.
Right, yeah, yeah, like, you know, these, you know, people in their, you know, they're fine people or whatever, but like, you know, they're just out of touch or whatever. And it's also, you know, and like, I'm also like, you know, it's like this, it's like we're making a movie, like, this comic, it's fairly small time, you know, compared to like a movie or whatever. So like, it's just kind of stupid that like they're so
Yeah.
like pearl clutchy about it, in my opinion.
Did they push back at all with like the different body types?
Actually, no, they didn't. Yeah, like I didn't even ask them at first. I just did it, and I just sent them designs, and they were fine about it, which was cool. I mean, like some of the fans weren't fine with it, but
A
yeah.
lot of the fans loved it.
Yes, of course they did. Also, yeah, which was great. But yeah, there wasn't. Yeah, Hasbro, they didn't push back about that. I'm trying to think of some other hurdles because like that's the fun stuff to talk about.
You mentioned you weren't allowed to mention Christy Marks.
Oh, that was a
So,
thing. Yeah.
What's the deal?
I don't know. I never found out what the deal was with that.
You mean
But
mention her where though, in the comic?
in like interviews. Yeah, in like PR. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Was Hasbro like reviewing the people? Who told you you couldn't?
Yeah, so this was something I had never come across at the time, where when Kelly and I would do interviews, you know, for like news outlets or whatever about the comic, like we would have to turn them in to Hasbro, and they would go through all the interviews.
Wow.
Yeah, and they'd be like, you can't mention Christy Marks, but you can't mention. There was a couple other like off limits,
And
things.
Brian, I'm sure, but,
But
certain people they didn't want.
yeah, right. And like I was in contact with Christy when I was putting together the comic. You know, like I wanted,
Storyline.
yeah, like I wanted her blessing or
Oh,
whatever.
sweet.
And
Did that bother her?
I don't.
Or did you know about it?
She seemed to know about it, but like I couldn't get anything out of her. Like what's the deal? Like why is it? What's that?
Copyright dispute, I got it.
I think yeah, it's some legal thing. I'm sure.
Yes,
I don't know what
right. Or
because
they want to put her, yeah.
because I know that like Christy tried to reboot Jem.
Right.
I don't remember. It was at some point, and she had a whole new story Bible and
Yes,
stuff
yeah.
in which Kimber and Stormer were together. That's a secret.
Really?
Don't tell Christy. She'll be mad. But but anyway, so she had this whole other thing, this whole other story Bible for this new show that never happened, and so I feel like it must be something where like Hasbro still owns that stuff, right? Because they still own Jem, so they own
Yeah, it's probably, yeah. and-
whatever is produced
and
under
they
Jem's
didn't use her
name.
In the movie, I don't think really either for the movie.
I mean, yeah, she made like a cameo, but
Yeah,
like,
Not until she put up the series.
Right.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, so they kind of, they had this incredibly, talented, her and Anne Bryant, I mean, she was the story creator, Anne was the main music, generator, Kindred wrote some songs, and both of those people, they kind of pushed, aside rather than brought them more in,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
and it's like, I
To
don't,
create, for the product going forward, to really, that movie, I think, would have been like so much better, but, they
yeah, I don't know.
reasons, maybe legal,
I feel like,
reasons were wrong.
I feel like the vibe that I get is that it's part legal
It's part legal.
and part just kind of like, like bad blood or something.
Well,
that's-
the bad blood is probably the legal, but like John Chu is a wonderful director. So wasn't he the director?
Yeah.
Right. So if he had the right creative team around him, that movie could have been great. But they did another thing, and I didn't see the movie. But I guess it's a younger group maybe, and they don't want to go back. They think going forward, legal. The bad blood is probably through the legal.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Too bad though.
Yes, it's too bad. So like we would have to submit our interviews and they would like go through and like snip,
Wow, they edit the interviews.
yeah, they would edit them, and which is something I'd never seen before. And it got to a point where like there were a lot of fans that were like why aren't you like what about Christy? Why aren't you mentioning Christy? And it's just like, like can I say anything? And like I'm really unprofessional or whatever. And it got to the point where I was just like I can't deal with this anymore. I'm just not going to submit my interviews to Hasbro anymore. And so I stopped. And so the interviews would go up, like talking about Christy, and like Hasbro, they didn't do anything. So I'm just like, all right, I don't know like what their deal was. Like I guess they didn't care that much. Yeah, and so eventually they just stopped caring about it, I guess.
Oh, so eventually were able to talk about it.
Yeah, eventually, because I just kind of like, didn't consult Hasbro about it and just did it. Yeah, it's just, it's weird. It's like, I don't know. It's like I hate like the spin of like doing like the PR or something. Like especially when
It's not real.
Yeah, it's not real. And there'd be interviewers. They'd be like, like is Christy Marks involved? Like what about Christy? Da da da. I'm just like, so what if like is supposed to like just like ignore this question or like no comment or something? It's stupid. And like I don't have any beef with Christy. And like I know like I was just like a hired gun to to work on Jem, but like I still care about it. I care about Christy, and I care about like what like went on or whatever. So like I'm not gonna just I don't know. It's a stupid thing to like fall in line with, So, but luckily that didn't end up being like a huge thing. It was just like in the beginning for some reason. But yeah, talking to Christy was really cool. I was gonna do, like after I had left the series drawing it, like I wanted to do a mini series with the Mongrels, which were
Yeah.
they were, yes, you guys know who the Mongrels are, yeah, with their evil computer entropy and stuff like that. And so I had this whole story where Blaze was secretly with this other band because, like, originally, like I had wanted her to stay the singer of the Misfits, like after Pizzazz left, but Kelly wanted Pizzazz to come back, and then Blaze got put on guitar or something. But I wanted Pizzazz to do guitar and Blaze to stay the singer. And so I felt like we set up Blaze, like her whole thing was that she wanted to sing. And then, she got to sing for one concert or something. And then Pizzazz is like, hey, I'm back. And she comes back, and then Blaze is, doing guitar. So I had this story where she was moonlighting with a secret band, the Leatherettes. And where she would sing, and she would get to be, the vocalist like she had wanted to be originally. And she would kind of run back and forth between the Leatherettes shows and the Misfits, and it'd be the Misfits would be like, why are you always late? What are you doing? And yeah. And so the Mongrels came in because they were like a kind of an underground band in competition with the Leatherettes, and then they had all this sound technology that they would shoot sound at people and wreck stuff. But I talked to Christy, and she didn't want me to use the Mongrels because she still felt attached to those characters or whatever, so I didn't do it. And I kind of actually the Blaze with the two bands thing that ended up happening in the Misfit series that Kelly wrote. I can't remember if it was the Leatherettes or not, or if it was. What's that?
It wasn't.
It wasn't?
It wasn't. I can't remember. It was the Lunas.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because of because of her. Yeah.
Is that because Britta's band, Luna?
No.
Britta's band is Luna, right? Am I right? Because
Yeah.
Britta, the singing voice of Jem.
Yeah. Well, because in the cartoon there was this country singer called Luna Dark. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
And so
Okay.
so he had Blaze be this big Luna Dark fan or whatever. Yeah, so she's the Lunas. But so that storyline kind of worked into that, and then I kind of did the sound firing technology in the Dimensions issue with Shade, where she had that little device that would shoot out sound waves that would cause an avalanche or whatever.
But also you brought graphics in.
I did, yeah. That was something I had wanted. That was something I had wanted to do since day one.
So good, but Chrissy was on board with that?
Yeah, she.
Mongrels, but graphics?
Yeah, she actually sent me this whole bio backstory for graphics that she had written,
Yeah.
and
The
that
Bible?
yeah
The
that had
Bible had that.
that had never. Well, I think it was for the reboot, so nobody had ever seen it.
This is I'm
Yeah, so she sent me all of this info, because I told her I was going to use graphics, and just so getting to introduce her was really cool.
So good.
Yeah, it was good. It was
I
awesome.
tell you, thank you, because
You're welcome.
Graphics, man, graphics.
The pleasure is all mine. So, so getting to do graphics was cool. And video,
Yeah.
getting to do her was cool. Because when I did that Dimensions short, it's it's only 10 pages long, but who can I work in that I didn't get to do in the series? Graphics and video, right? They're the two that I wanted to do. And making them evil holograms groupies was really fun.
Such a, an interesting twist.
Yeah, cause I felt how come the Misfits always get the groupie characters, right? Clash, and they get these kind of minion characters or whatever. So if the holograms are so popular, they have to have stalkers and online trolls and stuff, right? So so that's why I did that. I thought that would have been fun. Oh,
Would you have redeemed video if you had the chance to write her more? Would you have redeemed her and made her less
evil?
Yeah.
Well, I kind of did at the end of the story where she had this kind of glimmer of oh, I secretly love the Misfits or whatever.
And to me that was kind of what they did with Clash in the cartoon.
Yeah.
Near the end.
I think if I had if I had like been able to like keep the series going, I would have had like an awkward like family dinner thing, you know, where like they go to like the Montgomery home and like Clash is there and Video's there, and they're all just like, hey. Like that was awkward when you tried to like ruin everything. You know, like that was something that I wanted to do that didn't happen, obviously. I feel like I kind of, you know, like I love all the villains and stuff, but like, I feel like I kind of want to redeem everyone. You know, like I had all these ideas about how to redeem Silica from Dark Gem, where she like, you know, she doesn't like disappear into the ether like Synergy does or whatever, but she would like become real, and then she would be like the holograms roadie. Like, that was what I had wanted to do. That, you know, that didn't happen. And then her evil band, The Sickness, I wanted them to come back. And like, I don't know, like I just want everybody to like be evil and then be friends at the end and have like a pizza party or something. Yeah. So yes, I definitely would have done something for a Video. Maybe not graphics, because like she's pretty evil.
And she would have become a Stingers groupie.
Yes, that was my plan for her,
I
yeah.
know, it was really,
Yeah. It didn't work out.
there's always a next step, maybe.
Yeah, maybe, yeah,
Maybe
we'll
or
see.
not.
Do you
Maybe.
know whose decision it was to make Rhea originally a member of the Stingers?
Yeah, that was me. Yeah. Because I love it. I love it when there's a character, like I was just saying, where there's a character who's evil, but there's this like spark of good, you know? And then they switch. So then, you know, she's like, oh, I'm good now, I'm with the holograms. But then the Stingers are like, fucking Rhea. You know? Because she like, you know, she left them, she betrayed. So there's like, yeah, I don't know. I like it. And I like it. It was fun because getting to draw Rhea in Stinger's colors, you know, so she's Rhea, but she's like evil because she's like the black and yellow or whatever. And then, you know, her getting to switch to the holograms, I didn't get to draw her like when she switched. But
If you would have kept drawing when she switched, would you have changed her hair color?
it would have.
Or would you have kept her blonde? Because they ended up keeping her blonde.
No, excuse me, they did? Oh, really?
Well, she kind of.
She was supposed to have orange hair.
On the covers.
She went more on the orange.
On the covers, but in the comics, she stayed blonde and kept wearing Stinger's
Oh,
colors.
that's messed up. Yeah, because it was supposed. Yeah, she was supposed to have orange hair. Like when she switched, she would just dye her hair like orange, like coral or whatever. Because like I never liked in the cartoon, she was also pink. You can't have like.
It's Jem's hair.
You can't have like yes, like light pink and slightly darker pink. You can't do that. She has to have her own color, right? You know, it's like
colors.
yeah, she needed her own color. It's like you can't have, you know, like Power Rangers. There's no like two.
There's a light pink.
Yeah, like there's no two blue Rangers.
Mama's a blush and vegetable.
Yeah, so yeah, my pick for her was orange, but I guess they didn't do it. That's
On the covers they did, but in the interior she stayed blonde.
huh. Yeah, that's messed up.
I have the trainers.
Can you talk about if there's a character or character design you particularly loved to draw? Either their fashion or their style?
I really like drawing Stormer in Pizzazz. And Blaze and Clash, obviously. I feel like I like all the Misfits characters.
It's funny that you switched over from your child.
Yeah, exactly. Like once I figured it out, I was like, the holograms are boring. I still love the holograms, obviously, but like, you know, you can't. Like figuring out the fashion for the holograms was tougher because like I always kind of want to like go like a little more like goth punk metal kind of look. So yeah, the Misfits were definitely fun in that regard. That was also why we did Dark Gem, because I was like, what if the holograms are goth? Wouldn't that be awesome? You know, so then I got to do that. That was really cool. Yeah, what's up?
This is a less Gem specific question, but what were some of your like comic book art influences, either in terms of specific artists or just books in general?
I grew up on the old Ninja Turtles comics, like the black and white ones, by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. That was like the big thing for me. Calvin and Hobbes. I read a lot of like shoujo manga. You know, in like high school and college, I was like really into that stuff. Like like Tomoko Taniguchi and who else did I like? I feel like those were the big ones. Yeah. At least the ones that like.
Yeah, those stick out of your mind.
Yeah, that got me into that. Like, sent me down like the road to do comics at least. But yeah, definitely those old Turtles comics. I still love that stuff.
Kind of like a two-part question that's related. Who was involved with coming up with like the creative process for the bio stuff? Like you obviously did the artwork, and then there was also like fun little anecdotes with the bio pages for the characters. And then how come Jerica didn't have like a separate character sheet in the back like Jem did?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know why we didn't do Jerica. I think maybe I just didn't feel like drawing her. I don't know. But Kelly wrote all the bios, at least at first. I think I did the bios in Dimensions with like video and those other characters. But yeah, Kelly did all that stuff. I did all the formatting for the bios, all the text and the, like the layout and stuff like that. Cause like, oh man, there was this nightmare at one point where like I would send the bio formatting, like this is kind of a boring story, but like I would send the bio formatting to Kelly, and then she would type it up and send it back to me. But there would like always be something slightly wrong with the file, like like each character they would have like a logo for what band they were in, right? Or like so sometimes like Kelly would send it back and like the lightning bolt would be like slightly moved over so it didn't match. Yeah.
Please tell me you weren't using Microsoft Word.
No, I don't know. Well, I don't know what she was using, but like so I'd be like, Kelly, like it doesn't fit anymore. There's like this like. It doesn't fit with the bleed on the page anymore. It's not going to look right like when it prints. And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. We just like couldn't explain to each other like what this problem was with the stupid formatting. So then like I just took over the whole operation eventually. Cause like anyway, that's the kind of stuff that like you don't see going into a comic, all like the horrible little mistakes and people not knowing what they're doing. But yeah, Kelly wrote the initial bios and I did the art, and I wrote the later stuff too, like in Dimensions.
Is it me or Clash looks like Sarah Reacher?
A little
Was
bit.
it intentional or
No,
like inside joke?
No, she actually she's kind of modeled on my friend Natalie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's got this like, really pointy nose. And yeah. But she does kind of look like Sarah, yeah, like now that you mention it.
Okay. I was wondering if it was like an inside joke.
No, it was more like I found out, because I didn't know what Sarah looked like at that point. And I found out later, and she's got like that kind of pointy nose too. But yeah, she kind of does. It's funny.
Were there any kind of like inside jokes or side nods that you like snuck into the artwork about anything?
Oh yeah, that's another thing I couldn't do actually. There was, I don't remember which issue it was, but like, so the cartoon had all these like really stupid like cereals. I'm trying to remember. I can't even remember, but there was one that I had to change. God, I wish I could remember. I remember which scene it was. They were in it was the scene where the Misfits were in the recording booth trying out other singers when Pizzazz was gone. And Roxy has like a cereal box. I cannot remember the cereal's name, but apparently, like Hasbro, they were like, you can't put this, like you can't use that cereal because this particular word means like asshole in like Gaelic or something. And I was just like, what are you talking about? And so I can't remember what I changed it to, but actually there was a panel that we all missed that has the original serial name in it at some point, because I remember when the issue came out, there's like, you know, like Rakshi, she's like in the background or something eating the cereal, and it's the original name. So I was like, well, I guess we missed that one. I guess it's not that big of a deal. God, I wish I could remember what it was called.
How could they find out it was asshole?
I don't know if I don't remember if it was exactly asshole in Gaelic, but it was something I had never heard of before. Like this
Like
term.
a language that you never really.
It was, oh God, I wish I could
Familiar
remember.
language.
I wish I could remember now.
Someone find the comic.
Yeah, if you found the comic, I could tell you. I can't remember what it was, but it was like, you know, it was like this stupid cereal name. I thought it was funny,
Right.
and they were like, "Oh, this is offensive." But I don't think it was. I think it was just like, you know, it was like biscuit flakes or something like that. They're like, you can't say biscuit. I don't know. But yeah, but anyway, that was one thing.
Candy-coated zips?
What was it?
Candy-coated zips?
That's what I replaced it with. Like I replaced it because I was like, well, zips and candy coated. That's not anything, right? There was another one though. I can't remember. I'll have to get on my phone and find it later. But that was So that was one inside joke that I did, the cereals. And trying to think of other like stuff I put in there.
Aja had a Stingers poster in the first art.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because I wanted to I didn't know if we were going to get to introduce the Stingers at that point, but I wanted to seed them in there.
You had the limp lizards.
Yeah, limp lizards.
You had the Misfits on the guitar motorcycles.
Yes, yeah, that was something I was dying to put in. There's one scene where the Misfits are having a party in their trailer or something, and there are some characters from the Space Cadets and the Leatherettes in the crowd. I'm trying to think of some other ones. I don't remember if I got a surfboard gag in there at any point.
The Rama Llama.
Did I put it?
No, maybe
That was
not.
Spirit.
Rama Llama didn't.
Did they really put?
Yeah,
Oh, I guess I missed that. That's funny. Right. Oh no. There was wasn't there something oh my God. I remember wasn't there some Jem cartoon or some episode where Kimber had a pony or something?
Oh.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Father's Day.
Father's Day.
Was it? Yeah. So there was one background I drew where I put a pony stable in the background. So I guess
Llama is.
kind of it's kind of a stupid inside joke. I'm trying to remember some of the other ones because there's so many good ones.
Well, you gave Clash her distortion modulator as a purse.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, because she never got to use it, and I always thought that was a cool accessory, So why, she should have. There should be a nod to that somewhere. I'm trying to think if there was any other silly characters or anything. If I could if I had the issues in front of me, I could flip through and tell you every Easter egg, but I'm drawing a blank. This is it. Sugar-coated Biffos. And supposedly Biffo was something bad. Yeah. I can't remember what Biffo or what they said Biffo was, but it was something bad that I had to change. Is it?
So they're saying it's
Oh.
New Zealand or Australian slang for violence and fighting or something.
What? That's so misfit.
I don't understand. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So that's the panel where we missed it. Where it got through the censors.
It's Irish slang for big, ignorant fucker.
That's it. I knew there was an Irish component. Yes, that's what it is. That's it. But it's also funny because in those later issues, we heard, we didn't hear from Hasbro very often, so it was I just imagined some poor Hasbro intern, they were like, hey, can you Google Biffo real quick? Why would they even do that? Why would?
Maybe it was just serendipitous.
Yeah.
Unserendipitous.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. It's possible. But anyway, yeah, so that's the story behind the sugar-coated biffos.
I'm curious about your fashion choices. You know, I love the way that you know, was it retro or future? And why can you get the action figures with?
I know, I wish, yeah. A lot of that fashion, I just like what I would do is, Google image search, I would search for, like a particular item of clothing that I wanted to draw, like, I don't know, corset or something. And then I would never lift an exact outfit, from like something online. Like I would just kind of use like some cool corset I found as like a springboard and then like make up the rest. I felt like making it up was more fun because it's less real, I guess, because
The shoes.
I love drawing the shoes.
Like half those shoes, like you could not
Yeah,
wear them. Like,
yeah. Most of the shoes were all like, I wish I could wear these shoes. These like impossible gem heels or whatever.
like some like air holding it up. Like,
Yeah, yeah, it was fun.
I just want to say thank you for the effort to include gay and trans characters in the comic, because I thought one of the things when I was growing up as a kid, when I was coming out, I would talk to people like, did you watch Jem as a kid? Oh yeah. And then coming to the convention and seeing how many LGBT people there are who love the show. So then we're maxing it out. But then that's stuff I appreciate seeing the update where it included that. It gave us an honor to classic material and expanding it to a more modern universe. And even addressing some of the funnier things like even Jem having the dual personality being problematic.
Right. Extremely problematic.
So I just wanted to say thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm glad you do it.
A little bit more about you. Where did you go to college, and then what did you study, and how did you get into the comic book world? And then how come you didn't continue with the comic book? What happened with the Jen book?
I went to school in Georgia at the Savannah College of Art and Design. I majored in comics, which is kind of stupid. I don't think I've ever, nobody I work for even knows that I have a degree in comics. It's like nobody cares, doesn't matter.
Was it helpful?
No. I don't know.
That's college.
Yeah, I don't know. College, it's like such a, I'm not gonna go on a whole art school rant or whatever, but college is like such a fantasy world. It's worthless. I still remember when I hit my senior year or whatever. I'm just like, oh my god, I'm graduating at the end of this year. I don't know how to do anything. I don't have I don't have a job lined up. I don't know anything. Oh my god. Like that, and I had to kind of bust my ass to learn how to draw, and but yeah, so I got into comics back. I feel like it's a little easier now because when I got into comics, there was no Twitter, because so much of my work just comes through online now. All my editors are on Twitter, all my colleagues are on Twitter, and it's every comic publisher is a tweet away. They're like, hey, why don't you hire me for Wonder Woman? And then I got a Wonder Woman job, it's that easy. But back then, when I got into comics, there was none of that stuff. So I had to go to conventions and meet editors and schmooze. I hate schmoozing. Yeah, that's why I don't do shows anymore, except for this one. I just kind of pounded the pavement. I tried to make friends who were higher profile than me, who would then in turn recommend me to their editors and that kind of thing. And just kind of follow editors around like a lost puppy, being like, hey, can you give me some work? Like that. And it started off small. I had to live with my parents at first, and then I just kind of built up, and I could finally move out. And then once you kind of get a couple of books under your belt, you don't really have to schmooze as much anymore, because that's your portfolio. You're like, hey, I did this book. It's a real book. I did it. I'm not gonna flake out. I can finish a thing. it just kind of, I just kind of kept going from there.
Right, so what did you work on before you worked on the Jem, and then why did you, what happened to the Jem?
Oh, yeah, well, before, like, at first, when I first started out, I was doing, like, mostly my own stuff, just kind of, like, solo stuff that I would write and draw that wasn't, like, licensed stuff. It was just, like, my own characters and stuff. Like my comic Wet Moon that I mentioned earlier. And then, I think the first licensed thing I did was in 2011. I did Glory, which is this Rob Liefeld character. I don't know if you know who that is. She's kind of like Wonder Woman, but like worse. And so they were rebooting all these old '90s characters, and I had I've had a couple kind of like close calls over the years where I'm just like, well, I guess I'm almost out of money. I guess I'm gonna have to get a regular job, and then something will come in, and then it will like save me. So this Glory thing saved me from financial ruin, and so I did that for a year, and then after that I did Ninja Turtles like off and on. I can't even remember like what I did before. I think I did some Turtles before Jem. So then I did Jem for a little bit, and then after I don't usually like if I'm doing like a monthly series like Jem was, like I don't like to stay on it for that long, because it's just like drawing like the monthly thing, it's like really hard. It's like a grind, and you gotta get it out every month. And like as opposed to like a big book, which has its own challenges, but it's like, it's very different. And I felt like, and like toward the end, I felt like Kelly, the writer, and I, my friend, I felt like we were like clashing too much, and I was just like, I better quit to like save the friendship.
So you just chose it was like you had enough, basically.
Yeah, it was just like, all right.
You chose, this is.
Yeah.
So they replaced you with somebody else.
Yeah, it kept going for like another, 10 something issues like after I left.
Yeah. And you did how many?
12 and a half.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 12 and a half issues, which is pretty good. I think that's pretty sizable,
And then why did they end up finally just, it just ran its course and basically they stopped?
Yeah, it's just, like with like monthly comics, it's always like this kind of attrition that happens, and like
comic book is fickle.
Yeah, it's very fickle, and like I can't believe we got 26 issues out of it. Like that's incredible.
But if the license had an expiration date or something, do they have like a limited
license?
Oh,
not that I know of.
So they could still be doing it?
Yeah, I've talked to our Jem editor like off and on over the past couple of years, like, hey, we should reboot it. But, let me take over. I'll do everything. I'll write it and draw it. Yeah, and
How can we make it happen for you?
What's that?
How can we make it happen for you?
Yeah.
Harass IDW.
It's nothing you guys can do. It's whatever Hasbro wants to do, and if I can find the time to do it and pitch it. So I don't know.
Maybe you won't do it as a monthly thing. You do it as like what you said.
Yes, that's what I would like to do.
Yeah.
That would be much better.
It's like and then you get away from it, and then you can
like a single book that just comes out.
Right, which you could do, again. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Single book.
That would be, I think I would like that much more.
And then do another, keep it going.
Yeah, and like, I like the big books because I can kind of like hole up and work for like 4 months without anybody bothering me.
Right.
And then, I come out of hiding and like, hey, here's a book. As opposed to like, with like the monthly thing where there's this kind of like start and stop, approval process, start,
right, you could
approval,
have a
stop.
sequel. You could do that, and then you build it with the ending as a sequel to another one if you ever want to do
Yeah,
that.
right, like that's kind of what I do with my Wet Moon books, where it's like, there's like a volume 1, and at the end of volume 1, it's like, to be continued.
Yes.
And then there's volume 2 at some point.
Pitch if you do it.
Yeah, I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
This isn't really a question, it's more, it's just like a compliment to you and Kelly with the series. Like, it was interesting because the comic kind of came out around the same time as the movie, and the comic did
Yeah.
so well and had the spin-off series and won all kinds of awards. And then the movie obviously didn't do well at the box office, but so many people, like when people I've talked to at like different comic shops and talking about the Jemcon series, is that the reason why it did so well is you could tell the people who worked on it were fans of the show. They managed to stay true to the original characters and successfully brought the comic into modern times. But then also the different body types and the different sexuality with the characters, but it was so seamless. It wasn't like, oh, this is the token gay character, okay, now we need a trans character. It was just like, they happened to be that, and that was just part of their, story and their character development. So that was just like a random thought. I think really, like, what you did with Kelly, that was a big part of why the comic was so successful, because you managed to pay tribute to the original stuff while also bringing it into modern times.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think so too, because I definitely, I like the old show, so, yeah, it's like, and, it's like, I think for me anyway, like the key with like licensed comics and like licensed anything, not just comics, is like when you're like revamping something, like Jem or Thundercats or or whatever, like this existing property, it's like you have to like bring yourself to it. You can't, because like there are a lot of artists who, like who did covers and stuff, I'm not gonna name names or whatever, but like they would just kind of draw like the show designs for the covers or whatever, or like too beholden to the show, because it's like this, it's like, it's great, you did a great job drawing like the original cartoon Jem, but like what else, like what are you bringing to it, because like we've already done that, like we have cartoon Jem and she's great. So yeah, and I think some fans don't like that because it's it's different, but I think like the thing that Kelly and I did with the comic, like to be like true to Jem, like we had to change stuff about it and like bring what we wanted to see to it. And I think it comes out, it like it's apparent on the page, and I think that's like kind of why people responded so well to the comic, because you can see it, you can like
the song scenes too. Like I know there was a discussion like how are you going? The videos were so iconic and the songs were so integral to the show. Then how do you translate that into print? And I felt like the way that you guys did that with the lyrics on the page, and like I could I was like singing the songs in my head.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. That was really fun.
In issue 1, when you drew the first panel of Jem, when she transforms into Jem, your original artwork for that page had a more cartoon Jem dress design with the sash and stuff like that, and then it changed to like the like white wave dress. Do you remember why that changed?
I don't remember.
No? Okay.
I think, I remember there was a thing, like you're talking about like the page 20, right? Like the
Page
final
20,
page.
yes.
Yeah, because Hasbro thought Jem's skirt was too short.
Oh.
That's why. So I had to. I can't remember what I did, but I had to like tweak her dress and like add this like extra section or something, like because like I didn't have time to redraw the whole thing, so I had to this like, okay, like how do I add this little piece to make it acceptable.
Who was the audience for the comic book?
Oh God, I'm losing my voice here. Well, definitely fans of the show.
Right.
And
they were kids, so why would the skirt be too short?
I know. Right, exactly. Yeah.
It makes sense.
In my library where I bought the comics, they're in the teen section.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
teens.
Yeah, teens, so like 12 and up.
Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, it's also like it's also fans of the show, like
So
like
they
you
were
and me.
marketing to a new audience as well.
Yeah, it's both. So it's like like younger kids can read it, but like I don't know. I feel like I didn't think her skirt was that short, and
I mean, like, look at superheroes. These.
Yeah.
It's all that ass. Like, come on.
Yeah,
Like,
and
serious.
I think the skirt thing, it's just kind of the same thing with like with the queer.
Sounds like like somebody's justifying their job.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think a lot of that stuff, cause like,
Ridiculous.
like on some of the licensed stuff I work on, it's like like for example this skirt or whatever. So like that would be like a problem like at one point. But then pretend in the second issue I drew the exact same skirt. Like for example, and then they wouldn't care. It's like you would never know. Like
You mean you were on the skirt before?
no, just like hypothetically where it's like they'll change what they care about and stuff. Yeah, so it's like I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it's
It's just like you said, it's like, well, we got to do something. We got to justify our talent. Like, let's just like harp on this skirt today.
That's the worst thing they can
Yeah.
come up with,
Right.
really.
Yeah, and like there would be times where I would like I would like at least early on like I would turn in like pencils and roughs first before I would like tighten up the lines and stuff, right? And they'd be like, oh, like you can't do this, can you change that? And then I'd be like, yeah, sure, no problem. But then when I would ink it, I wouldn't change it. Like I would just do it, and then I would turn it in, and they'd be like, looks great. They forgot it already. Yeah, it doesn't matter that much. They've forgotten about it. So it's stuff like that. You can't. Yeah, it's really stupid.
Have you read the 2020, the IDW 2020 comic?
I skimmed it.
We were talking about reboots again.
Yeah, well, cause like Kelly, they wanted Kelly and I to do it, but I can't remember. I couldn't do it because of scheduling. I was doing something else, but I was pissed because Blaze wasn't in it.
No, that's right.
So like, why isn't Blaze? She's just not in the Misfits anymore. I felt like Cena, the writer, he kind of like he's great and everything, but like, he was kind of doing the show.
He was.
A little bit, yeah.
He really was.
The show, yeah, and he probably didn't even know that Blaze existed. So I'm just like, Tony, forget it. It's not canon. But yeah. So that, like even if it was like, I'm sure it's great, but the lack of him including Blaze kind of ticked me off.
And maybe you can't answer this, but I think one of the big mysteries for all of us is what you said earlier, like where's all the Jem stuff, right? Like, did you get a sense that anyone at Hasbro was like a real cheerleader behind Jem?
Not really. I mean, we only I think I only interacted with like 2 or 3 people, like very sporadically. They're not like when I work on Turtles, like Nickelodeon is like right there. Like I'm always talking with the Nickelodeon lady, and she's great. But like Jem wasn't like that. Like Hasbro, they would kind of like rear their ugly head every so often, and be like, "That's Scarlet Chart," and then like, and so like I don't know. Like a lot of the times, like I wouldn't I stopped like I would stop submitting stuff for approval because. Like I would just never hear anything. I'll submit it to my editor. Like that's good enough. He'll, he or she will send it through. And Hasbro can think what they think. I don't know if they even like the comic or not. I have no idea. And I don't know. Yeah, they were just this. I don't know. Yeah, they're very different from Nickelodeon.
Did they only give like negative feedback? They never gave positive. There would be no reason to give positive feedback on their end. Like there'd be.
Well, like early on, they would say stuff like. We're really proud of all the work you're doing, stuff like that. It doesn't mean anything really to me. Like even towards the end, there was like the negative feedback kind of dropped off too, which is good, I guess. But
Just positive, negative. It was all just BS.
yeah, I guess so. Like I remember this is so stupid. So like when I was doing the Dark Gem arc, which was like issues, like 11 to 16 or something like that. But and I think the only thing that they wanted me to change, and like out of all that artwork, there was one panel where I drew a character's claw, like she had claws, and they were like, those claws are too scary. You can't have her have claws or whatever. So I just gave her like normal fingernails, and that was it. That's so it was yeah. Hasbro was just kind of like this strange like entity that would like come down every once in a while. I feel like I'm just like trashing him. I'm never gonna get another job there again.
As if they're gonna watch anything from Jemcon. Let's be honest.
Right. It's true. Yeah, it's true. I mean, and I don't know. Like I've talked about this stuff in like interviews before and like podcasts and stuff, so it's out there. But I don't really care that much. It's fine. Whatever.
This isn't a question; it's a comment. You said when you were working on Gem #1 that was the first work that you did that you felt that you did as Sophie, as yourself.
Yeah.
And I just think that's kind of special that you were kind of sharing your true self with the fans.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Gem #1 was definitely an important milestone or whatever.
You mean in your career?
Yeah.
You could just talk a little bit more about that because I kind of got it.
Well, so I'm transgender.
Okay.
Yeah, and Gem, the first Gem comic was the first like printed thing with like my changed name and everything.
Wow.
So that's a big deal.
I have a question.
Yeah.
If you had your way without Hasbro getting involved, where would you have taken the Gem comic?
Oh God, I had so many stupid ideas. Like, you know, like all the stuff with Blaze I was talking about before. I wanted Pizzazz and Eric to hook up. And I had this idea where like Eric had this like snotty like 12-year-old like goth daughter, you know, and I had this scene in my head where like, you know, she'd like walk into the bedroom or whatever, and like Pizzazz would be like in bed, you know, while Eric is like making eggs or something, and Pizzazz is like, what the fuck are you doing there? You know, so yeah, so I wanted to do that. I wanted, God, what else did I want to do? So much stuff. I wanted to do like a thing where the Starlight Girls kind of like grow up.
Facts of lifestyle.
Yeah. Yes. And so.
Teachers like Joe.
Yeah. Yes. So I wanted the Starlight Girls to grow up, and I felt like Gem is kind of like, you know, it's kind of like an identity that somebody else could put on, because it's like a hologram, right? And so I had this idea that in the future there's a new Gem, like there's a new girl who uses synergy to be Gem. And so that was one thing I wanted to do. And you know, so like, you know, like Jericho would be like the manager or something like that. And she's all like old and bitter. Just like, the music industry is crap. You know, yeah, something like that. And yeah, so there'd be like a new Gem, and like the Starlight Girls would be the new holograms. And stuff like that I wanted to do.
What about stuff for the Stingers?
I love the Stingers. I don't know if I had any like big ideas for them though. I wanted to focus on the limp lizards at some point. Because I really like them. Because like we were in like one scene in like the first story arc, like it was really minor parts. So like, oh, they're funny, you know, like yeah, they're like stoner rock or something. They're funny. Yeah. So I wanted to, yeah. So I don't know. Basically, all my ideas revolved around like bringing in all the stupid characters from the show that I didn't get to draw. You know, like I had a thing where like this character Shade from Gem Dimensions. She's kind of like Tech Rat, where she like invents stuff. So I had this idea where, because in the show Tech Rat, he had this like igloo or something, right? Yeah, this like, yeah, is that what it was? Yeah, this like techie.
It looked like an igloo.
Yeah, it was like this techie like dome thing or something. So the Death, is that what it looked like?
No, well, it kind of looked like that. Is that what the Death Star looks like?
Yeah, it's like this sphere with like a bunch of tech on it.
Is that what Tech Rat's thing looks like? The
I don't know. But anyway, so I had this idea that Shade would kind of live at Tech Rat's like lair, but he didn't like her because he was wanting to be like left alone. But he had this like he would have this like soft spot where he would kind of like take in these like gifted children or whatever who would then in turn like make their own evil inventions. So like that was one thing. Yeah, because like I kind of wanted. Like, that was why I wanted to introduce Blaze, because, like, the holograms have 5 people, but then in the show, the Misfits only have 4. And, like, this should be, like, a mirror, right? So, like, the Misfits should have 5, and the holograms, they have Starlight Girls, so, like, what do the Misfits have? They have these kind of, like, horrible, like, evil inventor children that live in Tech Rat's junkyard or whatever. So like that was something I really wanted to do. God, I'm trying to think of some other ones. I really wanted Jerica and Rio to break up because I don't really like Rio that much. I don't know. He's just like.
But in the comic, he was so much better than in the TV.
Yeah, no, he was, but. I don't know, I don't want to draw Rio, man. I don't know.
Kill him off.
Yeah, just get rid of him or something, I don't know.
Was it a big thing to have Jerica reveal the secret in the comic when that was so protected in the cartoon?
I don't think I even drew that issue where she revealed it, did I? Yeah, I don't think so. So I don't have any thoughts about that. I don't know. I personally like I don't know. The cartoon is like that dynamic is fun. The secret identity, but like I kind of felt like she should have told him like pretty early on, because like that tension is stupid. Because it's like it doesn't really matter. I don't know. So, yeah, I felt like she should have told him pretty early. Like, Rio can keep a secret. Like, what's the big deal? I don't know.
Well, that's the thing, like, especially in the TV show where she got Synergy to simulate as if she was going to tell him.
Right.
And then she panicked. And she's like, turn it off. And I'm thinking, what's the big deal?
I know,
Tell him.
what is the problem?
Yeah.
I feel like maybe, like, I don't know.
She just dug that hole herself because she didn't
Yeah.
tell him offhand. Well, I can't tell him now because then he'll think I lied. She just
Like,
dug
She's like,
Yeah.
Didn't even make it out with those.
I know, yeah. But, like maybe it could have been something like Jerica, like, she, like, thought that was hot, like, that tension or whatever. So, like, she tells Rio, and he's like, yeah, that's cool, I don't care. But then later she's like, oh God, I don't really like him anymore because that tension is gone, that like kink or whatever is gone. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's too dark for Jem, I don't know.
I always thought like towards the end of the series, like the cartoon, that she and Jem and Jerica kind of got a little dissociating. Like maybe there was a little bit like Jerica doesn't think of herself as Jem and Jem doesn't think of herself as Jerica.
Yeah, like that would be cool too, something like that. Or like, God, I don't know. Like maybe, I don't know, like Jem could be like a separate person.
Yeah.
Then Jerica, they split. I don't know. There's so many things you can do.
So it's a more writing question about kind of this topic. If you had to rethink Jem for a very younger audience, because nowadays kids that buy toys are really much younger than what it was 30 years ago. So I think that Hasbro will want to, market a new Jem to a very young audience. Is there something that you think should be done differently for a young audience? And I'm not necessarily talking about the LGBT, because now apparently, finally, you can have LGBT characters in cartoons, but even this very thing, I mean, is it okay to tell young kids that you can only be successful with a disguise, or the love triangle, or what would you do differently?
That's a good point. I feel like, God, I don't know. I don't know if I would change too much, because I feel like...
it's like
I don't-
Florence said. It's like Florence said. Jem was kind of like a superhero for us girls back in the '80s.
Yeah.
So maybe make her kind of.
I just feel like what's wrong with being successful with a disguise? I don't know if that's like a bad thing. That's fine. It's because it's like I don't know. It's not a lie.
No, it's more like you can be whoever you want to be.
Right. Exactly. Like shit. If I could, excuse me. If I could, if I had a hologram that would make me this like. Super hot, giant-haired supermodel. I would just like go to the mall or something. And, I don't think that's bad. Like, I don't think that's a bad message necessarily. And especially with, there's that.
Part of
I don't-
her reason, part of her
Sorry, go ahead.
justification for having that dual personality was to protect Jerica and the Starlight Kids and that privacy.
Yeah, protect them from stalkers and stuff like that.
Here's about the other holograms.
And Zeta didn't need that apparently.
Yeah.
Or just
It's how do you develop that thing that can leave room to, even the fact that Rio sometimes kisses Jem in front of, cheats on Jem in front of everybody. I mean, that's something that maybe today would be addressed a little differently. I don't know.
Maybe even open up having like an open relationship and be like, yo, it's okay to have different kinds of relationships. Communication is.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, they could have like a polyamorous relationship.
It's okay because it's me.
And since Synergy can make a separate Jem. They could Jerica and Jem. It's true. I don't know. I feel like to answer your question, I don't think I would really change anything. I don't find anything particularly unwholesome about Jem or anything like that. But it's a good question, I think, and you definitely have to think about that kind of stuff.
Here's the question would be, not that it's unwholesome, but how would you make it, how could you, or somebody asked you, make it even more wholesome?
I don't know if I would. I feel like, you need that, kids, they it's like a little bit of edge, right? It's
very wholesome.
It's wholesome.
Okay.
It's wholesome, but there's also this kind of
That's what makes it
oh,
wholesome.
she might do something bad. Oh my God, I don't know. There's some tension there.
Right.
With the other bad and the good, you have to play off that.
That's
right?
true.
You have to demonstrate what is you're going again. What are you demonstrating the good for? This is the good.
Yeah.
Comparison.
I was going to say what I loved about the comic is that they gave Jerica a reason to become Jem because of her stage fright.
Yeah.
That was something in the original episode. Just all of a sudden she's Jem at a concert and why did she become Jem or use that? So then, so seeing that, I think it's really relatable too. That how do we become the best version of ourselves? If we're scared, if we're have that, so we do that armor or that thing that gives us the confidence.
Yeah, because that's where the disguise thing. Because it's if you can put on a mask, quote unquote, and do something good while you're in this disguise, yeah, there's a power in that, I think. I don't think it's a negative thing too, or either.
If you would have kept writing or done the comics yourself, would you plan exploring what at the end of third season of Jem, how Minx and Techrat was kind of bonding? Would you have done that too?
I think I like that. I think I would probably keep Techrat kind of asexual though. He doesn't, I don't feel like he's aromantic or something. I mean, they could be friends. Maybe Minx is interested in evil inventions or something. What I would do, you reminded me of it, I would have Jerica and Rio break up. And then Rio gets with Minx. Oh. Yeah. Because there's that one episode of the show where she's trying to be nice or whatever, and she's all about him, and Rio's Minx. That's hot. There's tension there, right? Yeah. So I would do that. That would be cool. Oh, 6. Yeah. So I guess we're wrapping up. Is there any other questions or anything?
Thank you for coming.
Yeah.